The notification popped up on my iPad while I was cooking dinner. New voice memo synced from Elena's watch. I frowned. Elena was supposed to be at her yoga class. She must have hit the record button accidentally during a workout. I clicked play, expecting to hear heavy breathing or gym music. Instead, I heard laughter. And then I heard her voice. Crystal clear. He has no idea, Mark. The idiot actually thinks I'm selling the jewelry to pay off his debts. A man's voice answered. Mark, my business partner. Relax, babe. Once he signs the bankruptcy papers on Friday, the company assets transfer to the Shell Corporation. We leave him with the debt, take the millions, and fly to Spain. I froze. The knife in my hand hovered over the cutting board. My wife and my best friend weren't just cheating on me, they were framing me. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the iPad. I quietly saved the file, uploaded it to a secure server, and went back to chopping onions. When Elena came home an hour later, kissing my cheek and asking about my day, I smiled. It was great, I said. I think our luck is about to change. For the next 3 days, I gave the performance of a lifetime. I played the broken, desperate husband. I sat at the kitchen table with my head in my hands, crying about how I had failed her. I'm sorry we have to file for bankruptcy, I told her. She rubbed my back, her eyes gleaming with fake sympathy. It's okay, honey. Mark says this is the only way. We start fresh. Inside, I was laughing. They thought they were the predators. They didn't realize they had walked into a cage. While they were busy drafting the fake bankruptcy papers, I was busy making phone calls. I called my forensic accountant, I called a private investigator, and most importantly, I called the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. You see, Mark had made a mistake. He thought he was smart hiding the stolen assets in a shell company named Phoenix Holdings. But he used my laptop to register it 3 months ago. He forgot one rule of digital theft. Never leave a footprint in the mud you're trying to bury someone in. Friday came, the signing day. Mark arrived at my house in his expensive suit, holding a bottle of champagne. To new beginnings, he smirked. Elena was practically vibrating with excitement. They laid the documents on the table. Just sign here, buddy, Mark said, uncapping a pen. This absolves you of the debt. I'll handle the liquidation. I picked up the pen. I looked at Elena. Are you sure about this? Yes, baby, she said, squeezing my shoulder. Trust Mark. Okay, I whispered. I leaned in, and then I started laughing. A low, dry chuckle. Mark frowned. What's so funny? I was just thinking, I said, putting the pen down. Spain is beautiful this time of year. Too bad you won't make it. I picked up the remote and pointed it at the TV. The screen flickered to life. It was the audio recording from the watch. We leave him with the debt, take the millions, and fly to Spain. Mark's face went white. Elena dropped her glass. It shattered on the floor, but no one moved. What is this? Elena stammered. That, I said, standing up, is the sound of your life ending. Mark lunged for the papers on the table. You think a recording proves anything? I'll sue you. Sit down, Mark, I said calmly. You're not suing anyone. I tossed a manila folder onto the shattered glass. That is a transfer order. I moved the assets from Phoenix Holdings this morning. The shell company is empty. It contains exactly $0. Mark checked his phone frantically. His hands were shaking. And Elena, I turned to my wife, the jewelry you sold to pay my debts, I tracked it. You pawned it and put the cash in a secret account under your maiden name. I leaned closer. I froze that account an hour ago. The color drained from her face. You can't leave me with nothing. I'm your wife. Technically, I corrected, you are my co-conspirator, and I just turned state's witness. Right on cue, the doorbell rang. It wasn't a polite ring. It was a heavy, authoritative pounding. Open up, federal agents. Mark looked at the back door. Don't bother, I said, pouring myself a glass of their champagne. They're at the back too. Mark looked at me with pure hatred. You set us up. You let us dig the hole. No, I smiled. I just handed you the shovels. You did the digging yourselves. The police burst in. They handcuffed Mark first. He was screaming about entrapment. Then they went for Elena. She looked at me, tears streaming down her face. Real tears this time. Please, she begged. I didn't mean it. He made me do it. I love you. I took a sip of the champagne. I know you do, I said softly. But I love myself more. They were charged with corporate fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. Because I handed over the evidence voluntarily, I was cleared of all charges. I kept the house. I kept the company. And thanks to a clause in our prenup about criminal activity, I kept 100% of my assets in the divorce. 6 months later, I received a letter from Elena from prison. It was 3 pages of apologies. I didn't read it. I put it in the shredder, watched it turn into confetti, and went to the airport. I had a flight to catch. I was going to Spain. After all, someone had to enjoy the vacation